Let's go over to our favorite position, the tight end. Okay,
Yeah,
the green light this week.
It's like a headache every single week.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly. But Dallas Goedert, you want to talk about headache? I mean, the Eagles absolutely crushed New York last week, and he had 4.8 points. Right? I mean, that's not good. But I'd keep the faith. He's got a really good matchup this week against the football team. Their defense has allowed at least 14.7 fantasy points to a tight end in 3 of their last 4 games, including Goddard scoring 20.5 against them in Week 15. So keep the faith in Dallas Goedert. And keep the faith in Rob Gronkowski. I really liked him last week. He was terrible. I mean, this is a 2-game stinker streak for Rob Gronkowski. In his last 2 games, 8.2 fantasy points. Not averaging, combined. That is not good. But he's got the Jets this week, okay? And the Jets defense, not all that great. And remember, Gronkowski has a history against them. In games against the men in green, Gronkowski in his career has averaged right around 14 fantasy points per. I'm also going to play Dawson Knox this week, even though the Bills have all of their wide receivers coming back. I still like him as a low-end tight end 1 in that matchup against Atlanta. And then don't look now, but Gerald Everett's been really good, and he's got the Lions this week, and he could be on the waiver wire if you need help at the tight end position.
Yeah, I don't know how Gerald Everett became such a favorite target of Russ, and DK got on the naughty list, but that seems to be what has happened. So Gerald Everett definitely available on a lot of waiver wires and a really good pickup. All right, sitting at the position this week, you don't like Mike Gesicki or Evan Engram.
Once again, don't get cute, okay? If somebody comes out and says, oh, you told me to sit Mike Gesicki and I played John Bates instead, well, you know, that evil's on you, okay? But Gesicki has not been great. I mean, listen, he's very inconsistent in the stat sheets. And look at the Titans. Their defense has allowed 3 touchdowns and the 5th fewest fantasy points to enemy tight ends this year, all right? That includes holding George Kittle to 4.1 points last week and Hunter Henry to 3.6 points back in Week 12. So if you got to play Gesicki, I get it, temper expectations. And then Evan Engram, I didn't like him last week. He got into the end zone. But Evan Engram will absolutely just destroy your fantasy championship hopes and dreams if you chase the points. All right, he has still failed to score more than 7.3 fantasy points in 4 of his last 6. So he's not been a very reliable option. He's also had more than 38 yards once in his last 8 games. That's not good. And the Bears have allowed an average of fewer than 38 yards per game to tight ends and the 8th fewest fantasy points to the position. So I'm fading Evan Engram. And the Giants are going like quarterback by committee this week with Jake Fromm and Mike Glennon, and neither one is really any good, folks. I'm also going to fade Jared Cook and James O'Shaughnessy.